one of the wealthy families in our world today. That we're going to be bringing someone on that's going to give us some perspective, wealth building perspective, but even beyond wealth building perspective, a perspective on how his family has operated for many generations. So without any further ado, guys, I didn't say the name of the person, but I want to bring to the line a gentleman from the Bush family. Mr. Bush, are you there, sir?
I am. Can you hear me?
Awesome. We can hear you. Mr. Bush, you're talking to a group of wealth builders. You're talking to people who have passion and desire for this amazing G999 ecosystem that you now have passion for. And so, guys, without any further ado, I want to introduce you to Mr. Charles Bush. Mr. Bush, say hello to the people.
Well, thank you, Ontario, for allowing me to play a role in tonight. And I just want a couple of, with your permission, would like to just set the stage a little bit about what's on my mind at the moment. Is that all right?
Absolutely. Go ahead, sir.
I'm happy to tell you that back in 2007 in Warsaw, Poland, I'm coaching a man that owns 300 Starbucks. And of course, that was not the name then. I think they've all merged in with Starbucks, but he had over a 10-year period opened up 300 express bars covering 6 countries in Europe, and with his home office there in Warsaw, Poland. The reason I had been there for 5 years was to open up Century 21 in that part of the world. I had 9 countries that I was there for. On that particular day, the 29th day of August 2007, I'm sitting in his flagship store and waiting for him to come back from the bank because I'm coaching him, business and life coach. That's what I'd been doing at that time for 49 years. And I'm a Fortune 500, Exxon, IBM, Ford, General Motors, Procter & Gamble, just a few of the companies I worked for worldwide. I was on 4 committees with the American Chamber of Commerce, 350 Fortune 500 companies. And the bottom line is I was building a city very quickly, 170 miles south of San Diego. I was moving San Diego into the Baja, Mexico. My partners, one of the founders of Century 21, they had been there some 40 years. And we were going to bring a banking center, the largest soccer stadium, my business partner, Phil Knight with Nike, you probably heard of that, Ford BTA golf courses, and 60,000 jobs paying American wages. Does that sound exciting to you?
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you what,
Absolutely.
In 1997, I was excited. Well, my great-great-grandfather was grandfather to Prescott Bush, and of course, my grandfather. We all go back up to the same great-great-grandfather. And my family, the Bush Dairy family in Laurel, Mississippi. So I was born in Nashville, Tennessee in 1939. So I am today 82 plus years old.
Your family has walked in generational wealth for quite some time. You talked about your father being a general manager over one of the top companies. I believe it was, what was the name of the company?
Maxwell House.
Maxwell House.
Manager of Maxwell House Coffee.
Awesome. And you also, your father was responsible for Bush Dairy and Bush Construction. And guys, I want you to understand, and he'll elaborate a little bit more in detail as we go through this interview. But we want to talk about, this generational wealth thing. There were 3 main components of wealth building in the Bush family. Can you talk about those 3 wealth building components?
Well, of course, obviously, y'all know about the whole interest with Prescott Bush in both finance and politics. But of course, that comes into play. But in truth, the oil industry followed. And then, of course, on my side of the family, my grandfather and his 11 children bought 200 dairies from 1896 to 1976 when we had to sell out to Borden's because of price fixing. But what happened, I think it's really worth telling. Back when Henry Ford was starting the Ford Motor Company, he decided, and I remember this is in the early middle 20s when he had the Model T. And he needed wheels. Are y'all aware it was called the horseless carriage? So the original Model T had wagon wheels, not rubber tires. And my grandmother had the largest wagon wheel factory in the state of Mississippi. Well, he asked my grandfather, who, of course, we had Bush Dairy there. And, but this was, of course, in the early days of that. And they came to Laurel, Mississippi, and asked my grandmother if she would provide the wagon wheels for that part of the world to go on they'd ship the things from Detroit on the train. She'd put her wagon wheels on, they'd sell them. And they offered my grandfather the master franchise distributorship for the state of Mississippi, which meant all the franchises would have been underneath him. Well, unfortunately, my grandmother didn't care for the Model T. It backfired because it flooded out in a creek. The chickens didn't lay eggs for 3 days. And it did get flooded out where her 4 horses, they could go through the stream because it had no bridges back then. And she talked my grandfather, out of having anything to do with this horseless carriage. Even though Henry told my grandfather, he said, one of these days, Charles, you're going to be delivering milk, not in those carriages with horses. It's going to be a horseless carriage. It's going to be a Ford motor pickup truck. It's going to be a Model A. And my grandmother says, no, Charlie. Her name was Liz. He was Charlie. I won't have anything to do with this. This is just not going to work. You had to get my horses to pull the thing out of the river. And so they didn't do it. However, a few years later, when my grandfather is delivering milk in the first Model A pickup, delivery truck, he realized that he had made a mistake. And my grandmother said, what do you want to do? And he says, well, maybe we need to be first in building bridges. Maybe we need to be first in building roads. Maybe if that car is going to be here, it needs infrastructure, right? And so Bush Construction came into play. And in 1992, they sold everything off. At that time, we had 7 asphalt factories around the South. And we were interstate highways. We were Keesler Air Force Base, paving road, doing everything after the Second World War. But my situation here is change comes, right, Ontario? By the way, I volunteered. I don't get anything out of this. I'm working with several churches right now. I'm working with some orphanages. I'm working with some nonprofits that believe they could earn more money than they're presently earning in their savings account and various CDs. Right, Ontario?
Absolutely.
In other words, what we bring to this situation is an opportunity to, in effect, somewhat become, rather than being in some central situation, we're now decentralized into a new culture. Have we not changed? Have we not changed since '83? While I was watching the first email is just it's a way of life today, right? And if that's not enough, how about texting? What's my point about all this? Change is on the horizon. And I see what we're talking about right now as the next major shift.
And you know quite a bit about our ecosystem that you've been studying over the last few weeks, you and your team. Talk to us about you being first in something, the advantages that has given you from a wealth perspective of being first. Why is it important to be first? Because every single person on this call, as well as you know, that they're first in something, and I want you to make sure you pass on that Bush concept of being first.
Well, as a Fortune 500 coach back in the 70s, I am asked by Bank America, and also back then, we had the Bank America card. Now today it's Visa. Back then we had Master Charge. It's now called what? Master Card. And notice how things have changed from back then, before I started helping them, every bank had its own debit or credit card. The problem was they were spending more money managing, and about 80% of the people were always late. And Bank of America and the MasterCard charge people realized we could centralize something by having a group go ahead and lower the cost of that particular focus. So I did play a role in the South in helping the two largest banks in the South get rid of their cards. And of course, one of them right there where you are, Ontario, Atlanta, Georgia, Citizens and Southern Bank. At once they were as large as Chase Manhattan. They financed all the original cotton and everything. I watched them let their card go and go over to the two major cards. And now fast forward to today and GS Partners. We're affiliating now with MasterCard, right? With an idea of you having your own banking system. And again, I'm seeing, is this a good example of first and change from one method to another?
Absolutely, because you've had your hand in a lot of firsts, which has generated a lot of wealth for you.
What is Mr. Elon Musk doing as we speak? You notice what's happening in Ukraine? They're able to communicate with the world because of his satellites. He has 200-300 satellites out of 1,000 he's building. In the next 15 years, Elon Musk, they're going to have their own private internet system. And now, again, this is another step toward decentralizing. Would you agree? I mean, change, it's coming. Absolutely. I can go on to glass batteries. I can go on to electric cars. Do you realize that over 20 million miles has already been with the glass batteries that take 1 minute to charge and go 1,000 miles? Do y'all see what's coming here? Change is coming. And I think that this call is all about a system, if you will, an ecosystem that can tie all of that together. But again, I don't get anything out of this call. I'm volunteering just to give you an 82-year-old opinion of change.
Absolutely.
And we either take advantage of it or we regret and take advantage later than now.
You've put together, I think it was last week before I went on vacation, you put together a call with a few billionaire friends on there. Why did you do that?
All the people we had on the call had a philanthropic, they had a heartfelt desire to leave some kind of a legacy. It may be homeschooling, it may be orphanage, it could be many, many things, but they wanted to give back to their fellow man. Why? Because we can't take it. It won't fit in our casket, right? We're not going to take any of this with us. So how about our family? How about our grandchildren? How about our great-grandchildren? What is the legacies that we'd like? What are the seeds we'd like to plant? And I believe it involves three things. I think we want health. I think we want well-being or good relationships. And I think we want better wealth management.
And I was blown away at the caliber of people that you brought in. Not only that, but you've made, and guys, again, this is not financial advice. He's not a tax consultant. He's not giving anybody any financial advice. He's basically made a decision for himself and is sharing with as many of his family and friends as well about what we have in G999. Mr. Bush, I'll let you share your perspective on this entire ecosystem.
In my area of relationships, they are all looking for the best way in blockchain in the coming technology. But I know one thing, blockchain is a check and balance system that I think would have kept honesty in the relationships that I dealt there without it. And so I'm trying to learn from the past. There's just these technological breakthroughs the Bush family has seen over and over and over again. And I do believe we have changes coming in this decentralized nature. And I know you're looking forward to May the 6th, right?
Absolutely. We're looking forward to May the 6th. Our chairman, whom you've gotten an opportunity to to learn a little bit learn about the ecosystem. We got tokenized real estate. We got assisted trading. We got Lydian World. We got our G999, which is the gas. We got our own ecosystem that's going to have partnerships with stable coins and all sorts of things being built inside one ecosystem. And we get an opportunity to be on the ground floor of it. Every single person, for the most part, that's on this call has G999 already, has Lydian staters already in their possession. And we're sitting, waiting on the opportunity for all these pieces to be put together. And May 6th through the 8th in Dubai is actually going to set that into motion. And I'm so grateful and so glad that you are with us, that you're getting yourself positioned in G999, and we're getting ready to do tier certificates for you, and we're positioning to help some of your friends to do the exact same thing within the ecosystem.
In a coaching perspective, it's been my experience the fear of loss is greater than the desire for gain. And people in many cases are more afraid of losing what they've got in their first look as opposed to gaining the leverage. All right. In my own situation where I'm in a retired position, and then many people that have these fixed income situations, they really are looking to take maybe even a small percentage of something and offering leverage. And it appears that we have that in addition to a network concept that we can share this thinking with our friends. And I will go back one more time. I think the three conversations that any best friend will love to talk, as well as a stranger, is health, well-being, relationships, and wealth management. They're all looking for fresh information on a changing horizon. As a matter of fact, I'd like to kind of sum up some research I did back in 2007. I'm actually holding it here. I was coaching at the time, Ernst & Young, the largest accounting firm. And we came up with 6 things that I think relate here. And that is, money makes it mutual. What do you think? A mission makes a difference. Learning makes you grow. Fun makes it fresh. Pride makes it special. And balance makes it sustainable. I believe we have an opportunity here that matches all 6 of these measurements.
If Suzanne is out there, Suzanne, by all means, definitely mute your line. We would definitely not have this connection with Mr. Bush, and he would not be a part of our GS Partners family had it not been for you and your leadership. And so I definitely want the people to see you or hear from you if possible. I just listen to the stories that you tell about, having ownership, part ownerships and, golf courses and things of that. And we want to stretch the minds of our wealth builders on the call who are positioning themselves to be first with our chairman to bring a lot of things to the market. You and I talked about our tokenized real estate that we're bringing to our marketplace, but we're doing that right now. And guess what? The world is getting ready to move towards tokenized real estate. You're talking about assisted trading and so many different things that we have in our ecosystem. Literally, his caliber of people are seeing what we have. And Mr. Bush, I know you're a man of faith, and you understand that I don't even know if Moses knew all that his staff could do. Right? And I just want our wealth building community to understand that there are people on the outside who already walk in generational wealth. They're seeing what we're doing. They're seeing what we have. And they're not only putting their mouth to it, but they're putting their reputations to it and sharing it with their friends and family.
Each one of us right now have a chance to do with our children, our grandchildren, potentially our great-grandchildren, is to introduce them to a decentralized system that we may be able to control the family's future wealth.
With network marketing. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is very interesting to me. This man comes from a very, very wealthy family, but he's had networking experience. Can you share, why would explain your network marketing experience?
I end up meeting Zig Ziglar. And of course, Zig back then is not Zig. He's selling cookware. And then one day he calls me and he says, Bush, we have this thing called network marketing. It's called Holiday Magic Cosmetics. He said, there's only one other network marketing company at this moment that's doing anything, and it's called Amway. And he said, I have a choice to be in either one of them. I've taken Holiday Magic. I want you to go to the Heidelberg Hotel, and I want you, there are going to be 300 people there, so there'll be 298. Bring your partner, Winston, with you, and y'all will enjoy meeting some of my other friends that you don't yet know, and you'll enjoy this meeting that Ben Gay III is going to put on. By the way, if you go on YouTube, you'll see that Ben Gay III has written 5 books called The Closers, and he's really one of the greatest sales trainers in the world. All this stuff's free on YouTube. I highly recommend you do it. But anyway, I go there. He's several years younger than I am. He's just getting started in his career. And he walks out on the stage, looks, there are only 2 people in a room for 300. Well, we're there, Winston and I, we're on the front row. We decided nobody else there. And he says, well, I was expecting 300, but he says, you guys, do you mind if I put this thing on as if there were 300 people here? It's the only way I know it. And he did. And at the end of it, we said, wow, we'd like to be a part of this new company. And all of a sudden, we go on from there to really quite a success. And unfortunately, Holiday Magic wouldn't change to the government's regulations. Amway did. So Holiday Magic, 3 or 4 years, went out of business. But it introduced me to the industry. So, Penny Rich bras and girls, we just go on to Mary Kay Cosmetics, we go on to Nutrilite, we go on to Herbalife, we go on to all these other companies where in 18 months, we were able to show people how they could make $5,000 a week. But there is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity in networking to go to the friends that you have influence over, not that you're trying to do it, not sell them anything, but they want to hear your opinion. And I think what we have here, right, is something that I tell my daughters, I say, I would really want you, if you heard about this before me, I would want you to tell me about this. There is an opportunity here. I don't care at what level. I believe there are a lot of people out there that want to hear this story. So we need to share this information. Thank you for letting me be here. I appreciate it.
Looks like Suzanne is unmuted. Suzanne, are you there?
Yes.
Awesome, guys. We want to welcome you to Suzanne. Suzanne is one of my top leaders in our group. Hails out of California. And Suzanne, if you could just share, Mr. Bush has stole the show, but we're going to leave beauty for the end. Can you share with us who you are, what you do, and why you have the kind of friends like Mr. Bush? Give us your perspective on GS Partners, the ecosystem, and why you are part of it. I think it's very important for this group to understand people of your caliber, why you're moving towards this type of ecosystem.
All right. So, Suzanne, I live in Irvine, California. Beautiful place. I'm a financial advisor for Sage Point Financial for almost 20 years. So I manage lots of monies for people, 401k plan, their retirement plan, so asset planning. I got into GS Partner since last year, and I've seen the world is moving that direction. Did you know that on the hedge fund manager, they use the block Bitcoin to hedge their fund? They use silver and gold, but that's beside the point. My client's very happy if I can make 12% on the portfolio for them. So with GS Partner, we are moving into a different era. Return is just unheard of for people that put in the stock market. Even though I've seen very good portfolio, but I feel that this is where my client will be very happy. I have a couple of clients have a couple $1 million with me, and that's why I will talk to them. look at the ecosystem. We have everything that we can think of. I just very excited about this opportunity, working hard and try to help many people as I can, and possibly we'll go to Dubai also to experience something different, to attend and meet some people there. Yeah.
Mr. Bush, I know you're still there. Why GS Partners? Share with the people from your perspective why this makes so much sense to you.
I am just fascinated with our future as far as, you know, what is going on beyond this point. And I think blockchain speaks for itself. And it's now and you know, you and I were, I think, awakened the other day when we went on the internet and looked at Boeing aircraft, right?
Yes.
And we saw that both Boeing, we know about Walmart, we know about JP Morgan, all moving toward blockchain. Construction, education, but what we're seeing is a need for management of finances. And out of all the things we were looking at Boeing, we saw customer service, you know, we saw parts maintenance, we saw a number of things they were doing with blockchain, and they appear to be, like many others, open to joining a network, an ecosystem that we have here that will further expand them in the 21st century. And I'd like just to kind of sum up, I know everybody on here is aware of it, but we have gone through at this point 4 civilization changes. You know, we started out with hunter-gatherer, we went to the agriculture age, we went to industrial, and now, of course, we're in information / knowledge worker. Would you agree? I believe blockchain is the beginning of a wisdom worker. I believe that's now the phase that we're in. So what impresses me the most is the wisdom that I think the blockchain method offers to every individual who chooses to take advantage of it, and certainly begin to look at how they might leverage their own financial means.
But I want to end with this. And I want to go back to, and Mr. Bush, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that he was getting ready to give them a certain amount of leverage over the actual Model T car. And I believe it was your grandmother or great-grandmother, I can't remember the details. I'll let you correct it. But she said, no, you can't do it. Made a decision not to. But when he realized what that car was going to become, and he realized that he missed the opportunity, he didn't just lay down and wait until he died for it to be said that he missed an opportunity. He went in to Bush Construction and started creating the thing that was the infrastructure that was going to be needed to make sure that that thing that he missed was going to be successful. And sir, you've said a lot to me already. We've had a lot of intimate moments already. You set my soul on fire, sir, because I miss Bitcoin. And you know my story already. I miss Bitcoin. My best friend walked away 8 cents, 1,000 Bitcoin, $80, made 9.5 million. He's dead and gone 3 years ago, and his beloved wife can't get him out of her mind. Why? Because as of today, Bitcoin was $48,000. She left her $48 million richer. He's in the grave, and she's still being sustained by the decision that he made, just like your forefathers did.
Thank you, Mr. Bush. Thank you, Ontario.
Ontario. Thank you,
Ontario.
That is good.
Awesome call. Thank you.
All the time.
Malls.
That was a beast call. Absolutely smashed it. Thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, Wendell.
I see what you're doing.